Sterling is number 3 for Dan O'Sullivan and Beau Mertens.
Resuming with a tongue tie on, didn't really get into the race on debut on rain-affected ground at Ballarat at his home track on debut, so may well have taken some improvement from that. The tongue tie goes on and he's at 1,300 metres as opposed to 1,200 metres here when he resumes.
Sovengard is number 4, who's first up today. Saab Hassan Steve Bastard, 25 to 1.
He's been given a good grounding to get back to the races with jump outs, and his most recent jump out was a bit of a bunch finish, but he seemed to truck along quite nicely. So he's got a bit of an issue with he's over raced a bit at times. So from an inside draw, I think Steve would be trying to get him to settle. But he has shown a little bit of ability in his races to date, and his jump outs are encouraging.
5 is Artie Fred for Paul Rock and Alan Crichton, $8 out to 9.
He was quite big odds, but ran well at Geelong here last start, over 1,200 metres behind Egypt. He was chopped out at a crucial stage and then had to regroup and then find the line. And to be able to do that was a really encouraging performance. He's lightly raced, and his last start was certainly his best to date.
Like a Rocket's a $26 chance, number 6 for Mark Kavanagh and Nick Hall.
On speed and then just weakened out of it on debut, no doubt would be fitter for that. I think the format of that race will hold up to some degree, with Startacular winning the race for the Wiley Dalziel colours for team Hayes and Dabenig, but really does need to lift and derive significant improvement from that first up run.
Malibu Rain's an interesting runner. First start for Darren Weir. Yendall is on, $9 into 8.
One of the more interesting runners of the day. Had a run back this preparation, but just over a month ago at Warwick Farm, and now joins the Weir stable as you meant. The nose roll comes off, and a bit of time to get into the Weir stable, and certainly respect that market support.
Here's the favourite, who's been odds on throughout on track. 160 out to 180 now. Thalberg, John Sadler, Tom Sadler.
Well documented. It was a good debut performance. Did a little bit of work in the run to get to a forward spot after being slowly away. The earmuffs go on. He draws an inside barrier today. If he begins cleanly, he'll be right there.
9 top rated, a first starter for the Hayes Dabenig team. Luke Curry in the saddle, 21 out to 26.
Shows a bit in the trials and jump outs. I think he'll balance up off the speed a bit from that draw and work home. That's what I'd think you'd expect to see from top rated on debut on what we've seen from the jump outs and trials.
10 is scratching. 11 Bonchetta's got several gear changes today for Tony Waddell and Roger Booth, but is still 100 to 1.
Yeah, the gear changes would need to help because the recent performances, and should be hard and fit for recent racing, but they haven't been a great indication of a horse that's about to break its maiden status.
12 is scratching. 13 Miss Von Costa for the Corstons team and Daniel Moore.
Fitter for 2 runs back from a spell, both at around the 1,100 metre range. The little step up to 1,300 metres should suit, and she showed a little bit of improvement first up to second up, so with more improvement here. She's got that awkward draw, but she seems to be progressing towards breaking her maiden, maybe over a bit more ground.
14 Sequins and Spice for Noni Shelton and Sally Wynn, and is another outsider in the race at $26.
2 runs back from a spell and hasn't been able to get into the race on that occasion, so fitter for those runs back, and a little step up in distance probably suits, but does need to lift.
15 Cupid, another one for David Hayes and Tom Dabenig. Damien Lane takes the ride.
On the fresh side, resuming here. Recent jump outs have been of a horse that I think is going to get over that little bit of ground, so it looks like a Fastnet Rock that doesn't have a lot of brilliance about it, and that's probably what we've seen on the 2 runs to date, and recent jump outs have been in a similar vein.
And 16 Volcanic Eruption is in the market, $5.50 out to $7 for Clint McDonald and Damien Oliver.
Was well in the market on debut over first up at Bendigo recently over 1,300, and really without the best of luck ran quite well, and I think the form through that maiden is going to hold up.